Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at a fire safety item and a home first aid kit from Rhino Rescue. The fire safety item I think you're going to want to see. We're actually going to test that out and see how well it works when we come back. All right, folks, welcome back. So I wanted to talk to you about these two new items from Rhino Rescue. I have a really nice little first aid kit here that I would say would be good for your everyday carry, maybe on your bicycles or your e-bikes, maybe in your hiking backpacks. It's not a full-on tactical trauma kit, but you can add those items from Rhino Rescue later on if you feel you need them. But it is a really nice quality first aid kit. Definitely blows away anything you're going to buy in a store. And I want to talk a little bit about the fire blanket. This is a 40 by 40 inch fiberglass fire blanket. We are going to try these out, test these out, and well, we're going to test one out and see how well it works on a grease fire. I'm going to try and start a grease fire, yes, outside on my rocket stove, not in here. But we are going to try it out and see how well it works. But I want to get into the first aid kit really quickly here and show you what's inside. I think for the money, it's a darn good little first aid kit and a good starter kit for you if you have absolutely nothing. And as your skills improve, you can add things to it. If you want to add a tourniquet later, stuff like that, you can do that. But let's get into the kit first, and I'll show you what's inside. All right, so we've got the kit open here. This is a 118-piece high-quality emergency kit. It's got first aid supplies to help care for minor wounds, cuts, scrapes, abrasions, cold, blister prevention, stuff like that. It does include an extensive selection of first aid items. The kit also has a CPR and a first aid guide, so that's very handy as well if you don't know what you're doing. I mean, CPR classes are offered pretty much everywhere. I would suggest you go out and get trained. But if you don't know what you're doing and you got a relative lying there and you want to give them CPR, there is a way to do it. And that will show you how to do it. So I would suggest reading that before you need it. It does come with this water-resistant EVA surfaced plastic case. This material is selected because of its premium quality and water resistance. Very lightweight, strong, and durable. The water-resistant outer zipper and EVA surface are perfect components to protect you from the outdoors. Again, this is something you could probably toss in a pannier bag of your e-bike or whatever. You can just stick it on the side. Maybe something you can carry in your work kit, maybe your get-home bag, something like that. Very handy. So let's open up this first section and see what's in there. So the bottom section there has all these gels and things. They have two things of burn gels. We have alcohol pads, BZK antiseptic swabs, sting relief patches, alcohol prep pads again. Very handy. Amazingly enough, you don't really think about these until you really need one. If you've got a bad itch or something or whatever, take an alcohol pad, rub it on there. Man, you will feel 1,000% better. Burn gel, of course, for minor burns, very handy. You do have your kit to your info here. This is your first aid manual, okay? Gloves. I would suggest, there's one pair in here, I would suggest getting a couple pairs and tossing them in there. When you have to work on somebody right away, you know, and you're rushing, having something that you have to open might be a little bit of a pain in the neck, and we'll get into opening the other stuff. An emergency blanket. These are really handy for shock prevention, for your own health if you're very cold. Remember, they're not going to keep you super warm, but they are going to keep you alive. They'll keep your internal temperature just high enough so that you'll live. Instant ice pack. These are very handy. Just smack them and open them up. Dry burn dressing to go with your burn gel. Very handy stuff. And, of course, a small little shears. I'm just going to rip these open and rip them out because the last thing I want to do is be fumbling around opening stuff up. And I got to say, you know, these are the less expensive Rhino Rescue shears, but even the less expensive ones, these things work very, very well. You know, most EMT shears that I tried before I really got serious about being prepared wouldn't even cut paper. You know, they do the old cut and it would just kind of bend. It wouldn't cut anything. And of course, you got a pair of tweezers in here. You could upgrade these if you want to metal ones, but for now, the little plastic ones work well enough for little things you might get stuck in your skin. So that's the top. Let's take a look at really quickly, the bottom half to a triangular bandage and wound plasters, as they call them, bandages. Okay. These are very handy for your triangular bandages and stuff like that, keeping things around a limb. You can kind of tie them off with that and seal them up. Do you have an emergency whistle? Let's see if it's any good. Yeah, that's loud. Of course, cotton swabs. These come in handy for a bunch of things, even if you want to clean your ears out in an emergency, but I can't really think of that. Of course, you have two of the elastic bandages. Great for securing and wrapping up a wound. CPR face shield, I kind of find it interesting that they're still including these, as most civilian CPR courses have evolved to hands-only CPR, and they're not doing the breathing, they're just doing the hands. And a little interesting thing that may keep you alive someday, or one of your relatives alive, I should say, or one of your family or friends. If you do the hands-only thing, and you do it to the beat of the Bee Gees' Staying Alive, you'll actually have the perfect pitch and pace for doing CPR. Just a little interesting side note. I'm sure some people know that already, but it's kind of handy if you didn't. So you just think of that song in your mind while you're doing the compressions. Emergency tape, medical tape, a couple of wound compresses. Again, handy for bleeding wounds, you know, things that you want to cover up real quick. Okay, and larger wound compresses. Okay, and I believe that's moleskin in here. Yep. So if you ever gotten one of those nasty little blisters or moles on your feet, you'll recognize this. These are very, very handy for that. They can keep it well protected. So all in all, I got to say, a really nice first aid kit. A little bit more than just your average Walmart boo-boo kit, you know, with a couple of Band-Aids and some cream in it. And again, you got room to add stuff if you want to add some things too. So definitely it's kind of scalable. You can bring it up or down however you want it. And pretty decent kit to start with. All right, let's move on to the fire blanket, because we're going to actually test that thing out with a fire. All right, so now we're into the fire blanket here, and I'm going to show you how this works. Basically, what I'm going to do, I actually have one of these that was sitting in my kitchen. This is a 2-pack. It comes with 2. What I'm going to do is eventually put some kind of hook or nail in the wall there. Basically, what you do with this is when there's a fire, you literally take this and pull it down. You pull downward, and this will open up. Okay, and there's your fiberglass blanket in there. Very, very handy for, you know, this is great for when fires just get started. You're cooking something with oil in the pan, the oil lights up, you're like, oh my God, what do I do? You know not to throw water on it because it's just going to make it worse. You don't have a bunch of sand or something you can toss on it. Now you got a fire blanket, all right? So you're not risking moving it to the kitchen sink and putting it in there, or risking spilling it and ruining your house or starting a fire. Basically with this, you're going to take it out, drape it over the fire, wherever the fire is burning, and it will turn off. It will extinguish it within a very quick amount of time. This also works for clothing fires. You can wrap yourself up in that. I'm not going to demo that one, okay? You can wrap yourself up in it if you're on fire somewhere and roll around with this wrapped around you, and it will put the fire out. Let's take a look at the blanket really quickly here. Then we're going to go outside and try to start a grease fire. Not a huge one, but you see what I mean. This is a very nice, big, thick blanket. You can't really see the whole thing here, but I will show it to you outside. You'll be able to see the size of that thing. So let's get outside. I got a little cast iron pan and a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to do it on my my little stove out there, my little rocket stove that I built out of brick. And once that gets on fire and lights, we're going to put this over it and see if it puts the fire out. All right, so this is the setup out here. If you go back on my older videos, you'll see where I built this little rocket stove here. I have it all filled up with wood. I have my little pan there, my cast iron pan, a little bit of olive oil. Not going to do a huge fire, of course, because I don't want to risk any kind of things. I also have a fire extinguisher over here in my hand. So if it does get out of hand and for some reason that fire blanket doesn't take care of it, we will see what we can do. So I'm going to fire up the fire. I'm going to get it going, and when it gets going good enough, I'll bring you back, and we'll put the pan on, see if we can get a grease fire going, a small one. All right, so it's going. We'll see how long that takes to get too hot, see if I can get that grease to light up. It just started a few minutes ago, so it's got a ways to go. Just for fun, I wanted to show you about how big this fire blanket is. It's quite a large blanket. I did get a glove on there because that's going to be really hot when I have to take it off. So let's keep it going and see what happens. All right, we have a grease fire. I did throw something in there. Now what I'm going to do is throw this sideways so I don't tip over the pan. Cover it up. We're going to take the grease off now. Okay. And see how it did. Get that grease off there. Very, very hot right now, but not on fire. Very, very cool. So it did the job. It didn't get into a raging fire, but then again, I didn't want it to. I only wanted a little bit of grease in there. Let's pull this out. And as you can see, no real damage to this, you know. So that did work. And interestingly enough, it worked well enough so that it actually caught on fire right as the fire was going out. I put a little branch in there that I lit, and it just poof, right away went up. So definitely works, definitely does its job. All right, let's bring you back inside and we'll finish up the video. So there you go. And this one was the one we used. It's packed back up. I just kind of wiped off some of the black. It's not burned at all, not damaged. You saw it out there. It looked fine. Just a little black from the grease. I was able to wipe most of that off, repack it up in here. This one will probably live out here because I do a lot of stove testing in here with gas stoves. This one will probably live in my kitchen, and I think I'm pretty pleased with them. Now, here's the deal. You're going to get 2 of them for $24.99. So for 25 bucks, you're going to get the chance to potentially avert probably a very common disaster, which would be a grease fire in your kitchen. Instead of freaking out, trying to dump water on it, trying to dump sand on it, finding your flour from wherever you hit it, you got these things right on the wall, pull down on the tabs, throw it on top, and you saw how quickly it put that out. It was smoldering, it was smoking, but it put it out. And it also choked the fire a bit too underneath. So I was really impressed with them. I think they do a pretty good job, and definitely handy to have something like that in your kitchen. It doesn't have to be somewhere obnoxious. You can kind of hide it behind something. Just know where it is in case people think it looks ugly in the kitchen. Just know where it is and be ready to pull it apart and get it over a grease fire in a hurry. And also that awesome little first aid kit, which is $22.99. Very good starter kit. I gotta say, more complete than most kits you'll see out there. Anyway, those are the deals. I will have the links to both down below. They are on Amazon. You'll see them in my Amazon store as well. Don't forget to check the Amazon store if there's anything in there you like. If not, just click that link, shop as you normally would on Amazon. You can even bookmark it. Really helps out the channel, doesn't cost you anything. Don't forget our freeze-dried wholesaler sale. We also have that contest going, so go back to that video a few videos back. Check on it. We got the contest going for $1,000 in free food and a bunch of prizes, 6 different prizes. $500, $250, $100, and then $350 consolation prizes. So don't forget to check that out as well. Our My Patriot Supply link, that's preparewithiridium.com. We got some awesome food deals on there. Great 3-month kit for $200 off. If you click the logo up top on the left-hand side, you'll see the whole rest of all the gear that I have in my Patriot Supply store. And that's preparewithiridium.com. Also, too, our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. Don't forget to check that out. Thank you guys for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.